8.1a is going to be a review of graphing lines. We'll start with just some basics. We have slope. Slope can be positive, can be negative, it can be undefined, and it can be zero. So this is positive, negative, zero, or undefined. To find slope, one way is we can look at a graph for the rise over the run. Another way is with a formula where we will use two ordered pairs in the formula. And then the third way that we're looking at slope is called, when we have an equation, we have the slope-intercept form of an equation. And I've already mentioned this some to you when we were talking about the function notation. Remember, this is where our f of x is, and so we'll see that again when we're graphing. We'll look at all of these in just a little bit. I also have a handout that you can print if you'd like with this information. I also mentioned earlier when we were talking about the function notation, or in 8.2, when we talk about function notation, we looked at a horizontal line, and it is a function. The slope here we saw at the top, m is 0, and m is the letter for slope. And if we were to write an equation for this, our equation for a horizontal line will be y equals the number where it crosses the y-axis. Also in 8.2 we talked about the vertical line, and at the top of these notes we noticed that m was undefined. Remember, m is the slope. The equation when we have a vertical line will be x equals the number, and this is going to be the number where the line crosses the x-axis. Now it looks like I got a little off the page there, so let me move this over a little bit. Make sure it's showing up for you. X equals a number and crosses x-axis. Okay, so that is slope. The next thing we need to talk about is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where your line crosses the y-axis. And we want to remember when we're looking at graphing, this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this information to graph. So the first thing we need when we're graphing is we need our equation in this format. Y equals mx plus b. The second thing we need to do is we need to plot b. And then after we plot b, the third thing is to apply the slope. And you need to write that number as a fraction. This is where that rise over run comes in. And it's helpful if you make a notation. You know, rise is going to be either up or down, and then the run is going to be either right or left. So this is the information we need to do the graphing. You'll have the equation, has to be in this form. You're going to plot the b. So you want to remember here, b, begin on the y-axis. Then you want to apply the slope, and we're going to have to do that twice because we need 3 points. I'll need to prove straight line, so I'm going to come in here and put straight line. Okay. Now on my MATLAB, it gets a little confusing, and I'll have to do a separate video for it. On my MATLAB, you can only plot 2 points. So use third point to check. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at how we use these 3 things to do the graphing. The first equation we're going to look at is y equals negative 2x plus 4. This is that first thing. It's already in the right format, so we're good. The b is 4, and so that means that's where I'm going to begin. So let me go ahead and draw an axis here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's try and get about here in the middle. And so see, this is my x. This is my y. I will begin at the 4 on the y. So my first dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, goes right here. And then number 3, my m is negative 2. And I need to write that as a fraction. So negative 2 over 1. So the rise will be down and the run will be to the right. And I have to do this twice to get that third point. So beginning at my 4, I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, and to the right 1, put a dot. Do it again. Down 2, to the right 1, put a dot. Now, if you're going to need a straight edge to draw the line. This is going to be a little tricky for me. And if the line is nice and straight, you want it to be nice and long. It's not a section. It's not part of a line. It's a line. So draw it nice and long. And if you do, then you should notice that if I go down 2 and to the right 1, there I go. I end up on the line. Down 2 to the right 1, I end up here. I got my line off a little bit here because the other thing to keep in mind is you could write this as a +2 and a -1. Those two numbers are equal. So if I go up from my beginning point, 1, 2, and to the left 1, so I got off with my drawing of the line just a little bit there. Okay? All right, so let's look at another one. So this time my equation is not in the right format, so I have to do some manipulating first. So divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So my equation is y equals 5/3 x minus 4. Number 2, b equals -4, and number 3, m equals 5/3, which means I'm going to go to the right, or sorry, up 5 and to the right 3. Or again, I could write these as both negatives. That's a positive, and 2 negatives make it a positive, which means I would go down and to the left. And this will help me out in case I run out of paper. And so let me go ahead and draw my axes again. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh, that's not a very straight line. Try that again. It's a little hard freehanding it. Still not very straight, but you'll get the picture. All right, so this time we begin on -4, and it's always on the y. Begin on y. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my first point. From there, I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 3. 1, 2, 3. Put a dot. Now I'm going to run out of paper here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3. I'm right on the corner there. I can't go down and to the left because I've run out of paper. So as long as I've got my 3 dots and lay something straight there, because you do want your line to be as close to straight as possible. And so that's how you do it. So the other thing about this section is you want to remember is that we've talked about function notation, and so our equations will be written like this. Y equals 1/2 x minus, say, 6. So in this case, remember, that's my y, so it's in the right format. So that's the first thing. Second thing is going to be the b equals -6. This is I begin on y. And my third thing is m equals a +1/2. So we go up and to the right. And we apply the slope twice. Okay? So what I will do is I will make a different video showing you. I'll do another video to show how to graph on MyMathLab. And I will pull some problems from there. So I will do that. And so you will probably need to watch both of these.